I'm back with more dream messages. Living in old buildings gives you energy, especially old estates built on ley lines. Wooden chateaus? The question mark. The fireplace had some part to play, and I think that's why they made them so large. Something about visiting royalty. I got this impression that the natives of America, this country, whoever they are, had these too, like European estates. And maybe those who came over here refurbished some of them. And I had this image. I saw this estate that these people were going into was surrounded by all these destroyed buildings. So they didn't destroy this one, and all the it was like a community or a town or something, and they moved into this building. House was built around the fireplace for more than one reason. First thing you do is to light the fire. And then it said possibly built in ruins of old civilization or left over. Now the fire thing is just coming up. Reminds me of the hearth and the Vikings or the Nordics or whatever you want to call them. Their hearth centered lifestyle or way of doing things. What else? I'm gonna give you a rundown of a couple of different dreams. Sometimes I can only bring back a certain amount of info, and sometimes things get a little complicated, so just bear with me. Niagara Falls. I saw people time traveling in the barrels. Maybe if you're around my age or older, you remember these stories of people going over the falls in barrels. It was like, oh, they're just, doing it for fun or whatever. Maybe some of them are. For some reason, they were hoodwinked, and that's something the Masons do, supposedly, when you are inducted into their whatever. Here's another one. The government was created to keep the other world hidden from us. And then I looked up in the clouds, and there was this big ship, like a spaceship, like an alien spaceship. But maybe some of them aren't really foreign, let's just say. Then I remember looking at the TV, one of my dreams, and seeing this ridiculously bright blue light. And they talk about the blue light, right? 333. And some people talk about the blue light beings from whatever underworld or astral world or whatever that could be connected with scrying in the Black Mirrors or whatever. I've heard that from R. Wayne Steiger on YouTube. I remember him talking about that. But the blue lights coming from the TV, there is something very, very wrong. And you're not seeing, like when I saw the TV, it was just like blindingly blue light. So it's something that's like underlaid, right? But it's very, 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 powerful. So there's something with the screens. Then there was this part of a dream where they had these clear syringe guns. Make of that what you will. They fired these little, kind of like Team Fortress 2 with the doctor, right? Then I wrote down that I need to tell you about this dream I had a long, long time ago, where I was in this maze, and it was obviously in some probably underground place. It was very naughty what they were doing with people, and they would arrange people in by race. It was like 4 or 5 guys or 6 or 7, I don't know. and they would give you these like really nasty, dirty weapons, like a rod of wrought iron or whatever, like a baseball bat. And they had them run along this maze that was elevated. And in between the little maze areas you could stand on, there were giant spikes. So if you fell down, you got impaled and died. And these fucking sickos are making you fight to get out of the maze. And then I had this other part of the dream where I had found my way to an estate, let's just say a wealthy person's estate, and they were in these robes and stuff. And let's just say there are many, many things, 5-5 on the timer, that you don't know about that are incredibly powerful, and some of it is well, it's the technology you get is not what they really have, let's just say. And there are very sick things going on. Armed caravan, 619 on the timer. Armed caravan. I'll let you figure that one out. Armed caravan. I don't know if you remember other caravans. Armed caravan. 636 on the timer. Let's see if we can get it. I'm trying to fit them all into one video. Oh. Here's another dream I think I might have mentioned before, but I had this dream, 656 on the timer, of being taken through the pyramid by the Queen of England, that queen, and she took me to, I'm pretty sure, Orion, and I met the dragon queens of Orion, and they're in this very fiery, molten sort of planet, and they had these things running around which looked like squibs from Warhammer 40, or no, just regular Warhammer, I think. The medieval sort of one. And yeah, so that pyramid, it really can transport your consciousness to Orion to meet the Dragon Queens. That's what happened to me. That was in my dream, okay? Don't get mad at me. Here's another dream that I'm gonna make a separate video because it's pretty long and involved. Very interesting. Something about baseball. And maybe this will be a little bit of a continuation from the last video I did about the Freemasonic disclosure. Go check it out, about the Scorpion King and the rituals they're doing. Charlie Kirk, that event happened, and people said it looked like a menorah, 818 on the timer. But it also looks where he was, whatever happened. But it also looks like a baseball diamond. And then there was all that other stuff about the guys doing like baseball, like baseball moves or whatever. And I wrote here based baseball. So you gotta look into like the language and stuff. And here's the capstone to this one, right? Because I need to get this one out. It's important because I saw it come up in someone's tarot reading, right? And that's this Burkina Faso thing. This thing keeps popping up in the consciousness, Burkina Faso, recently. And the leader, he had this like red cap, like a special forces cap. And I had this dream like a couple months ago about these guys. They looked like they were training like underground or in a facility or something, and they were wearing all black. And there was this black guy in a red cap, and he was leading them, and they were doing this sort of like ritual martial arts kata, but all in like a all together, like again moving against each other like a machine, basically. And they were doing this sort of ritualistic kata. It was very, very interesting. But I got the impression they were very 946, sorry, on the timer. They were very, very serious about this thing. They're not joking around. And then I saw this tarot reading today This lady brought up Burkina Faso and something may happen or so, so I was like, okay, I have to tell people about this. But they were very serious, dressed in all black, almost like SWAT or special forces. Very, very interesting. But that's the end for this one because I need to get it out, I think. Pretty sure. Who knows? And I'll be back with more.